Hello and welcome to Quantum Heart Awakening. My name is Karen. I am a transpersonal educator, spiritual coach, and oracle. All right, today we're going to do a divine feminine check-in. Yesterday's twin flame reading, I can't talk, excuse me, it was intense and power-packed with a lot of information. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, a lot of things to clean up on either side of the street. So feminines, let's lean in. Yesterday, I'm trying to remember what the feminine message was. I'm remembering taking accountability for where feminines are betraying self and then reconnecting with cosmic power. I'm remembering that now. Okay, so feminines, yesterday, you were being asked, you were being called out. Where are you not believing in your own power? Where are you keeping yourself small? Where are you believing illusions, right? Where are you falling prey to these lower frequency thoughts, feelings, ideas, things like that? Okay, let's see where we go today. Friction, okay. Bear with me. I'm going back to my original setup, and it feels actually lovely to be back. There's much more space. Okay, so that also might be a message for feminines of, do you need to take up more space? What do you need in your space? Do you have to create boundaries around what would feel supportive to you? Do you feel safe in your space? Do you need to protect self or protect your time, protect your schedule? Is there something else that would support you in creating sacred space for yourself? Okay, anything else, Spirit? Well, are we taking all of these? No, too many. Anything else for feminines? Anything else, Spirit? Anything else? I don't know why I feel like 2 more want to come out, or 3 more. I was off. Okay, what do we have? We have heat. We have space. I was just talking about space. And then we have dependability. Okay, awesome. Let's look at the unconscious position. Okay. All right, what's being pushed into the shadows? Wait, where's the best place for you guys to see this? Is renewal. I'm just going to leave that on the side here so we keep an eye on it. Okay, let's see. We have friction, moderation, motion, time, heat, and space. Let's start in the unconscious. So what's being pushed into the shadows is this renewal, which reminds me of regeneration, growth, allowing something to take place, right? Allowing kind of I can't think of the word. I'm thinking of like when you renew like a membership or something, you have to intentionally and consciously choose to do that, right? We have to wield our free will and sovereignty in a way that consents to the renewing of something. And so there's 2 narratives coming up in this message here. So, the other thing with memberships is sometimes, especially most of our memberships these days are on autopilot, right? We have auto pay and things like that. So sometimes they renew without us even realizing it. So on one side of the coin here, feminines, you're being called to actually bring presence and integrity to cleaning up these things in your life that are seemingly on autopilot, right? So you're being asked to bring consciousness to these items. Is it a friendship? Is it a standing work date that you always have? Is it think about what's automatic in your life. And this might be something literal, like, it's very easy to look at your finances and say, oh, wow, I didn't realize I was paying for Spotify and I never use it, or I was paying for Netflix and we never use it, or something. So it could be literal of actually cleaning up the memberships and subscriptions that you do have. What are you subscribing to, right? Do you have magazines that, like, does anybody read magazines anymore? I actually love to read them on the beach, but that's a story for another time. I used to really love like architectural and design, like home design magazines. And what's crazy is I was in Florida with my mother, and she wanted like a fashion magazine, like a regular, like Vogue or something. We could not find anything. And so I had to research online. I'm like, did they stop printing magazines? And they did. Well, they didn't fully, but you have to actually get a membership to get a magazine, or they have, like ebooks or, and like a PDF you could download of the magazine or something. It was just really funny to me that, print is dying, sadly. And anyway, so feminines, you're being asked to bring more presence to things that are on autopilot in your life. Do you always have the same breakfast every day and you just like, it's the same thing every day and it's just on autopilot? Maybe bring a little bit of awareness of, is it time to change things up? The other message that's coming in, as I said, subscription. Feminines, what are you energetically plugging your circuits into? What are you subscribing to? What thoughts, ideas, beliefs, limiting thoughts, limiting ideas, limiting beliefs are you subscribing to, right? This is deep, deep work. This is diving into family of origin stuff. Like, is there something that your family, implanted in you, and a thought, a belief, an idea? It could be as small as, you always say a prayer before you get in your car and go and drive it. Or it could be like kind of a dark seed of where maybe you grew up and your family had a prejudice against one group of people or something, and that was kind of embedded in you as a child. So it's like, I have no idea what these things are for you. Only you can know that, but you're being called to take deeper accountability for these things that you are subscribing in. Also, are you subscribing to, do you find that every morning you read the newspaper that you subscribe to or you have a membership for, you feel a contraction in your stomach and a panic in your chest? Maybe it's time to put that newspaper down. Maybe it's time to cancel that membership. Are there, what are these things for you that no longer are serving you, but you catch yourself in, a repetitive habit or pattern? It's time to bring integrity to self, integrity to your life, and make sure that the choices that you're making, down to, the water you're drinking and the clothes you put on your back and the food you consume, that every choice you make is in alignment with your mind, body, spirit, right? Do you feel good about these choices? Because that will affect you on a profound energetic way. And once your energy is affected, that will now touch every piece of your life. Okay, that was my rant on that. Gosh, that was one. And just to ground it and bring it back, remember, this stemmed out of the renewal card. This is what is in the shadow position. Okay, moving on. All right, Spirit, where should we go next? Yeah, feminines, I continue to get this message for you of, where are you burning the candle at both ends? I mean, we have friction and we have heat. I need a feather or a pointer. What do I have lying around? I'm not used to this deep table and I can't reach with the camera. So we have friction and we have heat. I mean, come on. So there's something here about feminines. You're being called to a higher level of temperance. You're being called to bring balance and intention into your space and to really drop into this deep presence so that you can access discernment around what is causing friction in your life. What is bringing friction into your sacred spaces? There's something here about upholding appropriate boundaries that are in alignment with you, right? No one can tell you what is right or wrong for your sacred space. Only you can do that, right? Because you are the only one living in your interior castle. So that space, that internal world, is your responsibility. So whether you stay stagnant or take action, that's up to you. What you bring into your space, what you release from your space, that is up to you, right? My goal with this channel, with my coaching, with my readings, is always to call you to a higher level of sovereignty. What does that actually mean? To become an ultimate authority over oneself, right? To bring a profound amount of love to whatever is taking place in your life, right? That our love is not dependent on what is going on. You've heard me say this before. Our mission is to practice holding our center for love of self and other in all flavors of chaos, right? You've heard me say this. And my mentor, James Finley, always says, repetition is not redundant, right? Repetition is not redundancy. It's not just because we're repeating ourselves doesn't mean it's failing to do its job. In essence, when you hear me say these pillars of truth over and over and over again, it's basically me inviting you back home, right? Back to home base, back to our core home frequency, to remember, right? We need pillars of truth. And what's true for me may not be true for you, but this is where you are being invited to write your own holy book of divine truths. Yes, there are universal truths, but there's also these micro truths that are true for you on your soul path, right? Something that I always invite my clients and my friends and family is to not to take anyone's word for it. Don't take my word for it. Go and live that truth and see how it feels in your mind, body, spirit. Does it resonate? No one can make that discernment for you, right? No one can measure the, I'm very drawn to this heat card here. And heat, when we measure energy, right? Energy is a measurement of heat, right? When you burn energy, you're giving off heat. I guess I'll just leave it there. But there's something here about testing these things that you're curious about, around allowing yourself to come into deeper relationship with some of these ideas, these new spiritual concepts, these truths, and lightly flexing them in your life. Like, experiment, right? We have this sacred life and we're meant to experiment. That's why we're here in Earth School, right? It's like when you think about a college class, does every student walk the same educational path? Does every student study the same way? Do they all get the same exact grades? Does everyone have the same relationship with the professors? It's like, no way. Everyone has their own unique path through illumination, enlightenment, through acquiring and attaining knowledge, through integrating knowledge, right? The process of integration looks different for everybody. Some people like to lean out and totally, leave their zone of wherever they were studying and like go on a trip or totally switch up their entire lives. And other people like to lean in and, be around other people that are learning the same things and trying to integrate all of these things. But no one can walk that path for you from knowledge to wisdom, right? That is your path from learning to integration to finally your final destination of embodiment, right? My mentor, James Finley, always shares this quote. In medieval times, they had this concept of co-naturality, meaning you know what you know by virtue of being what you know. So often in this day and age, so many people, I'm guilty of it too. We're so consumed with doing things that we can highlight, or doing things that would look good on a resume, getting more letters after your name, acquiring a million certifications. But really, at the end of the day, that's just what you put on paper. At the end of the day, your greatest calling card is who you actually are and who you show up in the world as. It doesn't matter how many degrees or how many experiences and trainings you've done if you can't show up and feel comfortable and grounded in your own body, right? So our mission is always to really integrate and embody all of this wisdom so that we can live a more abundant, a more liberated life, right? We don't do this work for anyone else. We do this work for ourselves, right? We do this work to become more peaceful and loving individuals. And let me tell you, that light, I just got full body chills, that light, cultivating that profound illumination of the heart and of your own power will change the world. That is the greatest gift you can give the collective, is to become who you truly are, is to ignite your soul on fire and learn to live there, right? Learn to live at that altitude, that profound, profound altitude of truth, of love, of tolerance, of abundance, of infinite oneness. Beautiful. Wow, okay, we're 15 minutes in and I haven't even pulled clarifying cards. Is there anything else here? I'm just going to name this for you guys. I'm staring at this time card. And it's been, catching my attention, but I wasn't ready to speak about it. And I'm still not, but I just want a little footnote. I want a bookmark for this for us. There's something here about life cycles. This beautiful time card shows the life cycle from birth to death and back again. There's something about birth, death, illumination, and awakening in these cards. There's a lot of spiral. It symbolizes spirals. It symbolizes the spiritual path. There's a sun, a moon, masculine, feminine. It's just such a very powerful activating card. It's my alchemy card, and it's also the honoring of time past. That's all I'm going to say. I don't have any advice or education on that piece, but let's just watch it as this unfolds. Okay, where do we go? What are the questions showing up? You know what? Hold on. I'm putting this dependability right in the center because that feels like where we're going next. Spirit, can you speak more about this dependability? What is this regarding? Well, okay. Okay, I've been shuffling and we continue to get the same card. So we have lightening your load and gaining clarity. And then we also have manifestation. I'm getting the exact same reading we got the other day. Exactly. That when you can gain, remember, clarity is discernment, right? It's another word for discernment. When you have clarity, you can easily access discernment, aligned, wise discernment. So when you gain clarity around yourself, your own capacity, your own gifts, you will be able to more easily discern what is no longer meant for you to carry. When you can access this discernment, then you can lighten your load, right? You can honor and access the awareness that, oh, this is not mine. I've been carrying this for so long. And actually, this was my mother's, or this was my grandmother's, or my father's, or my old boyfriend or girlfriend or partner. This was left over from my old job when my boss used to put me down all the time, right? Once we start to really radically follow these threads and follow them all the way down to the root, we start to gain awareness around what is ours and what has been implanted or given to us, or shall I say gifted to us, right? Because all of these, even these very heavy things that we're asked to carry in this life, are always a gift, right? They're always an opportunity for even more awareness. What we're learning to do is fine tune our hearts so that we love ourselves enough to actually gift ourselves the opportunity to put the weight down, right? We have to, we get to come deeper into relationship with the world around us so that we can access this grace, so that we can love ourselves through the darkness, love ourselves through adversity, love ourselves through our failures, through our attempts, through intolerance, through pain, through grief and sorrow. This grace is the key. This grace is this sacred, Carolyn Mace calls grace this holy substance, but she really talks about it like it's this 3D substance that exists in the air, almost like if you walk through, if there's a fire and you walk through the smoke. She's like, it's that tangible, where grace literally is floating all around us, and we always have access to it. It's a matter of how much love can we let in our hearts in this moment. How much can we allow ourselves to receive and to honor that we are worthy to receive. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I wasn't going to go here, but I'm going to go here. In the unconscious, we have willpower. It's hard. This stuff is really hard. I know I talk about pretty profound concepts in a very light and sometimes even giggly way, but let's honor that it takes profound willpower, profound spiritual stamina, spiritual endurance to really love self enough to take a step towards what is kind to self and other. And so all of these messages are basically leading us back to creating a more dependable vessel, right? A more dependable vessel so that spirit can flow through us unobstructed, so that we can come into divine inner and outer union, right? Inner union with our internal masculine, internal feminine, and internal God. I think I'm going to start saying that now, because it really is the embodiment of the Holy Trinity within self. Masculine, feminine, and source. I think the twin flame, I don't want to say market, that sounds so gross, but I think twin flame culture has been really blown up in pop culture in the last 5 or 6 years. And it's really gotten the Hollywood treatment of fairy tale and soulmates and all this stuff. And while, yeah, some of that's actually true, some of that beauty and that ecstasy that one can feel is real. That's real. However, it's real when you do the work. It's real when you can create a really sacred vessel where there is safety to explore the psyche, to explore the body, to explore spirituality, to explore consciousness. If you can't become a safe vessel for self, how can you possibly become a safe vessel for others, right? If you do try to walk that walk without feeling safe within self, more often than not, you will burn out, right? It's not a sustainable way to come into mission and purpose and service. And I already said mission, but for some reason it wanted me to say it twice. Okay, so yeah. Here's the thing, people. It's like, I don't like to talk about ascension that much. I've actually been trying to get away from that word. However, in this ever ascending world, and right, we're never on a straight trajectory of ascension. We ascend and then we descend, and then we ascend and then we descend. And sometimes the deeper we descend, the higher we can ascend, right? If we illuminate the darkness, then the darkness ceases to exist. And then our consciousness has expanded. We are awakened. We want to awaken others. It's this whole sacred process. However, I'm losing my train of thought, but it will come back. What was I talking about? We were going back to creating a dependable vessel so that spirit can flow through. And I'm remembering what I was saying. We want to walk this path in a sustainable way. What does that mean? To have spiritual endurance, to step into healing and reducing suffering on the planet in a way that honors self, in a way that brings all of the parts of self with us, right? No parts left behind. I don't know if you're familiar with internal family systems. That's Richard Schwartz's whole kind of modality of doing parts work and really honoring, giving voice to all of these unconscious pieces of self so that we can further integrate them and embrace all of the wisdom that all of these little parts have to share, and also share our wisdom with maybe these parts that are from previous versions of self, maybe our inner child, our inner teenager, our scared part, our protector, our exiles, all the pieces, right? And so again, we are doing this work so that we can become a dependable vessel to self and to other. Once we become dependable, we can step into this work in an empowered way, right? We can trust self. We trust self enough to step into difficult situations, right? And in the difficult situations is where we grow the most, right? What's that quote? A calm sea never made a skilled sailor. We need the rough waters to learn certain skills. If it's a calm sea all the time, we will get reliant upon that calm sea, and we will start to lose confidence in self. And honestly, I bet fear would grow, because yeah, it's pretty scary at the impending storm, if we've never experienced one, to all of a sudden have to navigate that and steer our way through that. So we're learning to become dependable. Okay, beautiful. Where are we at? Let's get some inner child cards. I'm feeling this for you, feminines. You know what I'm also noticing about my readings? At the end of the day, remember, we all have feminine and masculine within us. And so I'm really noticing how the line between masculine work and feminine work is starting to blur. And that's delicious to me. That is absolutely incredible, because it's all of our work. It's like, okay, my job to help you guys walking a twin flame path is to keep you accountable and grounded and tempered, right? We are practicing not losing our center for love in chaos. And to do that, we have to rein in our fairy tales. We have to rein in our projections, our attachments, our expectations. And what's so sacred about this is this entire reading, everything I've shared with you, nothing is limited to the feminine. This could be a collective reading, and it is. We have to remember that what is in us is in other. What is in other is in us, right? This is the perk of oneness, right? And some people look at that as incredibly painful, and other people look at that as what a gift, that we can do this work together, and that the work I do affects you, the work you do affects me, and the work we do affects the collective. Okay, anything for these sacred divine feminine showing up and doing this radical sacred work? Anything else? What do we have here? We have let it go. Let go of all that no longer serves you. You know what? I'm going to put this under lightening your load, because these are all, look at all these beautiful cards of discernment, right? The more you love yourself, the more you build your self-confidence and self-esteem, the more you will believe yourself when your intuition starts speaking to you, right? The more you will actually listen. You won't override your intuition. And when we don't override our intuition, we honor our boundaries. We become sacred stewards of our boundaries, trustworthy stewards of our boundaries. Anything else, feminines? Okay. Oh my God. We have be present, find clarity in the moment, right under clarity. Feminines, what if your only job, what if you experimented with this for pick an amount of time. Maybe it's 1 hour. 1 hour on a Tuesday from 3 to 4, you're going to practice being present. And I mean radically micro present. Bringing all of your awareness to your breath, to your thoughts. If your thoughts are of a lower, unkind frequency, you immediately call your spirit back from places it doesn't belong and get radically present with your bodily sensations. What are you sitting on? What are you drinking? What are you breathing? What are you smelling? It's like, can you practice being present? Some people love meditation. That's their way. That's their pathway to presence. For me, the best way for me to practice presence is paying attention to my body, because our body knows all the things before we do. It's picking up on all of these. It's like this high what am I trying to say right now? I'm thinking of a frequency tower, but it's a really fine-tuned frequency tower. It's like we're picking up all this radar, all this data from this radar, and it's our jobs to discern what is coming through. What am I feeling? Why am I feeling it? And what is it telling me? Right? What do I need to do with this information? How sensitive can I become to my body? What is it sharing with me? And what do I want to do about that information that's coming through? Beautiful. Anything else for Divine Feminines? We have say yes. Now is the time to be open and receive. Didn't we talk about receiving earlier? Feminines, one of your greatest, the greatest work that you're doing is working on worthiness, feeling worthy. And a part of that is worthy to receive. How are you at receiving compliments? How are you at receiving praise at work or praise from a beloved? Wow, we got a bunch of stuff here. Let's see what we got. I'm going to take all of it just because. Okay, we have write a letter to your inner child. So that might be an invitation for some of you. If you could say anything to your inner child right now and go back and speak. And imagine if you can go back and plant seeds in the heart, mind, body of your inner child. What seeds would you like to plant? That's a beautiful, powerful practice. I think I'm going to have to do that one. What seeds would you like to plant in your inner child? You can go back and rewrite your stories. You can go back and rewrite your childhoods. The question is, will you? Will you do it? Will you answer the call to do this work? Okay. Okay, we have disappointment is not the end. There is hope even in the darkest of nights. Practice freedom, release the weight of judgment, which goes with this lightening your load card. And then we have it is time to celebrate, cultivate an air of celebration today. Feminines, if you are listening to someone, you've heard me say this a million times, but I'm going to just keep saying it because why? Because repetition is not redundant. I'm going to keep saying, that as well. Feminines, if you're listening to someone like me, if you care, sorry, I'm like gnats or something. What is happening? If you are listening to someone like me, and you're following it and what I'm sharing is resonating, you are already bringing consciousness to the fine, subtle layers of your life. This is do you understand this is master level work that you are doing? If you care this much, if you are using your free time to listen to readings like this, to read the books, to listen to the things, to do all the things, you are in the realm of mastery, right? You are not in your undergrad. This is your PhD, right? I just got full body chills as I said that. You deserve to celebrate at each stage of the journey. Any disappointments, remember, human chaos is divine order. There is hope even in the darkest of nights. So keep going. Practice freedom. Release the weight of any and all judgment because liberation is at your fingertips. It's all arriving for you. Beautiful. I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm sending you so, so much love, Divine Feminines, and I hope this was supportive, and I will see you in the next one.